application, but I have a lot to say about that tonight.
Travis as well.
Travis Wilson, yeah, but.
I know. I'm gonna live stream here in a minute, just so you know. It is 5:01.
Hi, Leslie.
Hi, how are you?
Yeah, I have a
You're still
cold.
with us, you're still with us on this committee, right?
I'm still on the Conservation Commission. Yes, that's the only one I kept.
We're going to do something.
Do you wanna start recording now or?
I don't know, how do I start recording?
No, you just press this button. Just the play button.
Well, maybe not, so we're not zooming on, right?
You're live on YouTube. Yes.
You've already.
You can't see it. You're live. That's why I wanted to reiterate that.
Yeah, well, I'm not the chair, so you do. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So just like. This is a weird ball.
How are you, Linda? No room for me over there, so we usually have. Oh, no room for me. It's like, you know, you always sit in the same pew at church.
I know, the lefties.
I don't go to church.
I wouldn't know about that.
I wouldn't either. It's the same.
Yeah.
I mean, so, it's the same.
We're being recorded now, by the way.
Hmm?
We're being recorded now, by the way.
Oh, thank you, okay.
Yeah. There she is over.
Thanks,
So we're all set, we're being recorded
I
again.
don't mind.
Okay.
What's that?
If anyone knows I don't go to church, that's not the bottom is.
So. When we get to. The quarry issue last. Because the quarry issue, we can get to it last, so you can leave
Yes.
before we do that.
Yes, I'm ready. Yeah. Do we have a quorum today?
Yeah.
Oh. All right. Oh.
Now, the interesting issue is. We won't.
Oh, that's right, I think.
Are we? Well, let me just call the meeting to order at 5:05. Thank you all for your patience. We will not have a quorum when you leave.
But, oh, that's a good point.
But you have to leave so that you,
So you have to table that, I guess.
Oh, I
but we can't, but we can't. We don't have time.
I know, I don't wanna table it. I feel really, really strongly about this issue. I'm not.
No, I understand.
Yeah.
I just don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know, no. But I am going to, well, can we start? Can I say what I?
Yeah, we can start all the other things.
Well, I don't know, it's adjustments to agenda, I'm not sure that's where it belongs, but because I'm on the appeals board and the potential controversy over that, I don't believe I should be.
Right, involved
Here for that.
in this discussion.
So I was gonna leave before that came up.
Are you?
Well, you just can't vote on it if you're gonna.
No. She should not be aware of
really
what
don't
we
think it would be-
discussed.
Listening to.
Really?
Yeah.
You know, just, you know everything, just even the hint of impropriety, I don't wanna do that.
Yeah,
And you know how people, you know, wait a minute, you know,
Yeah.
wasn't she, you know, so,
and your Caesar's wife, and your
Yeah.
Caesar's wife in this more or less.
yeah, it's also, it's just easier.
Yeah.
Best, I'm gonna be hearing enough about it, I guess, but can you, can you still have a meet, how can you do, how can you talk about that? It just,
Well, we can be shot later.
Well, let's do all the rest of our business.
Okay. But I would like that,
Why am I
in the
saying-
minutes. I would like that in the minutes, though. That I'm
Yeah.
accusing, might be sure that it gets in the minutes, just because of the potential controversy. And me being on the
Yeah.
appeals board.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
people mention that in the minutes.
Yeah.
So nobody.
Yeah.
Okay, so, cleanup day plans.
I think everything, I let the transfer station know, and I think Henry's got the the dates changed and I checked with Penny and it's okay with Penny and.
Okay, I have a question because when did the date get changed? Because on my calendar, it was happening this past Saturday.
Yeah, I thought I guess I don't know. I guess I thought I think we just let Sandra know and probably not anybody else. That's all.
And honestly, I was by myself.
Oh, well, you never come to that.
And
I don't know. I
I
thought
went,
Henry,
I read the instruction and there was going to be a pickup by the town office. So I drove back and, I went all the way to the, stump dump and they said, no, nobody was there. And it's like, okay, well, I just went to the dump and dumped my bag and
so you had your own little cleanup.
yeah.
I apologize for that. I thought Henry had let people know that we changed it because he had forgotten something. I can't remember what it was, but
Wow.
it is now going to be this Saturday. And it's going to be basically just buttermilk.
And that's the 12th.
Whatever Saturday is.
Yes. it's-
And I think I'm gonna do the, I myself, I'm just gonna do the, town landing. I can do that myself. I do it all the time. I never do it. I do that first. So it's gonna be buttermilk and Henry is going to be, I wish he were here. I thought he's going to mark off sections like A, B, C, D, so we can get the whole buttermilk done.
But who is going to know that it's on Saturday? Is the publicizing happening in the papers?
Well, I thought Henry was taking care of that.
I think nothing happened.
Hasn't
He
been
had
anything on the
rather-
town email.
He had asked me rather late to see if I could get it into the print media, so I couldn't. It was too late for last weekend. So I contacted the online media and I think it might have went in and I had put out posters. But they were the posters for like, of course, the wrong date. So now I have other posters, but I emailed him a few days ago. He never answered me. I emailed him and said, is it in fact taking place on the 12th? He never answered me. And also another thing that I noticed is that, and I've drafted an email to, Hannah, there's been no announcement on the listserv, but I wanted to talk to Henry tonight and say, is it on Saturday? Because
And he sent me this cryptic message. I think he's got some family emergency.
Okay, so that was my next question. I hope he's okay, because it sounds very odd behavior. Yeah.
Yeah, there've been a couple messages from him. Maybe just to me, I didn't pay close attention. She's gonna try and find the most recent one.
So Henry, I'm just going over who's not here. Henry and
John Poirier.
I was trying to think of his name. I was gonna say the guy who said I, and the new guy whose name I can't even remember.
Well, the latest message just said, and it must have been just to me, I will be out of town all mistypo, but he meant all day Wednesday until late, so I can't make the meeting, and that was like yesterday. Clean up, if press release got placed, I think it's a question, so he has no idea.
Because
And then he says, I will be available all morning on Saturday and will be able to place signs and such up on Thursday. Sorry about all this, but life has intruded again. Apologies for brevity, but I have to run H.
So it sounds like we don't have much
So, yeah.
advertising, but it sounds like he's going to be there. I plan to be there with the truck. I don't know.
So do you want me to tomorrow, I have it drafted, but I just didn't send it based on talking to you. Do you want me to write Hannah and ask her to put this on the list or this,
With the corrected date?
With the corrected date?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, that's minimum.
On the
we can
listserv
do.
on the website, and are there posters up with the wrong date?
Probably they're still left over, so that I will go and collect the wrong ones and then put the amended ones. in.
Yeah, that's not much time, so we probably won't have a whole bunch of people, but
Right.
that's too bad.
Do you want me to
Okay.
do that? Okay,
All right.
okay, so I will do that.
Oh, shoot. Oh, and I will not be there. That is the same day as the main association of conservation commissions.
So I'll try to be there. Where is it better?
And I will be, same thing at Acadia National Park, so I will not be, but I did my duty on Saturday.
You've already done your cleanup, yes.
Well,
Leslie, where is it better for me to be at GBC or at the?
at Guilford Butler,
That's where it's best to be.
that's where we give out and, you know, anything, that's
But-
all stuff.
The issue there is the parking, because, you know, a lot of people attend the center on Saturday. And then, you know, I think Penny may have an objection because it's going to create, you know.
Believe me, we
confusion.
don't seem to have a huge amount of people
but
clean up.
They've checked with Penny and she said there's no problem.
And there's
B,
parking on this, in the back and the side.
I don't think there's gonna be much turnout this time. It's,
Not at all, because we didn't, kind of messed up a bit.
uh, right, well,
It's younger
lessons for
for
the
too, so I
future.
think-
Maybe three of us can get, so
If
we'll just do the best we can.
if you have some particular job, I'm free on Saturday.
Well,
I don't wanna walk on the side of the road and pick up stuff.
Right,
you know,
right.
I really not
I'm
up,
there and
not up
keep
to that
Henry,
anymore.
well, keep Henry company and just ask him. I don't know, or you could do, or you could pick up, or you don't want to pick up anything.
No, yeah, no, I drove the truck for you once. so-
Yes, you did. That's when we're picking up things. So I guess just, let's hope for the best. That's the best we can do, and
Right.
more planned next, whenever we do it in,
So the time is supposed to be what, 9 to 12?
It says here 9 to 12.
so I have, my guess is there will be very few people,
All right,
except Henry and I, and maybe Sally and Linda.
No, I will be,
Okay.
yeah,
So,
unless it's like lashing with rain or something.
No.
It's,
are there signs? I was there for yoga today. Were there signs out front?
he had signs last week, whether they're.
he's saying he's gonna put up signs tomorrow.
Okay,
Tomorrow's Thursday.
okay, well, it's better than nothing. Okay,
But yeah, if the listserv goes out tomorrow, I think, you know, it's still some notice, so people may participate.
yeah.
I have,
As I said, it was a little different in that it was just going to be buttermilk, right? And we're gonna separate buttermilk into sections and just do buttermilk. Because that seems to be where we get most of the debris. Yeah, we'll do the best we can.
People
I'll
drive.
be there, Lynn will be there, Henry will be there, Sally will be there for moral
Yeah.
support. And
We'll get, these
Believe
people
me.
drive across Buttermilk Lane in a pickup truck with, and let the stuff just.
I know, and don't stop it, but we'll get, even with this few people, believe me, you'll get at least 3 truckloads, I bet, out of Buttermilk easily.
That's appalling.
It is, but it's true.
I believe you.
But the reason Henry and I are gonna split it this time is because we never know, it's always seems like there's little sections, like I go from here to here, and then I don't know who stopped. So he was gonna actually do like A to B, B to C, you know, and say, you just do A, you just do B, and just leave big things on the side of the road and I will pick it up. You know, or bring it back to, you know, either way, if you wanna do your own house, or excuse me, own neighborhood, you could do that, but we're focusing just on buttermilk. And just picking it up and leaving it there in bags, and I will pick it up along with the truck. Maybe you can drive and want to pick it up.
Yeah.
Okay.
We had, we had the walkers that walk all the time on, they seem to do a pretty good job of keeping Sprucehead Island picked up.
Yes, they do. Yeah, they do. for sure.
Well, between the village and Sprucehead Island, because that's the common.
Okay. The Forest Preserve, the only update I have is that we are working with a lawyer. I can't remember whether we mentioned any of this before. I can't remember the timing, but we got the select board's approval to reach out to now I'm blanking on the name of the firm. But it turned out that they had represented both Smith and Klein before, so they couldn't take us. But they recommended a woman named Melissa Reynolds. And I think she's in sole practice, but we've been working with her and the good news, first of all, yes, she can take us, and the other thing is she didn't say, oh my God, a quit claim deed, forget it. So this is all comforting. But she is asking us some strange questions. She wanted, the deed to the town lot. And then she wanted to just satisfy herself that we had good title to that. Because if the issue is one of the big issues is access, because Klein had none. And we're extinguishing the one that Smith had. So she wants to be sure the access is over land, that there's no question we own. So that's
That's a good.
a very good thing to check out. But then she started asking us, and she said, well, and I've been out of town, John's been tied up with other things, and we haven't been able to get back to her, but she started saying, and you'll need a new I'm missing words, but you know, the right of access over Prothero. And we need to explain to her, no, that's not going to happen. This is what we're doing instead. And then she said, and there'll need to be an easement from the town to the new land. And I'm saying, we have to give ourselves an easement. So the only thing I can figure is that she thinks the preserve is going to be some kind of separate entity, not just. So we just need to have a conversation with her to stop her going down rabbit holes and get her focused on the questions that need to be addressed. But so John and I are going to try and set up a meeting with her.
There's still no even preliminary notion on how much of the original town piece is going to go into the.
Correct, and we're not going there at this time. The LMF grant is only for the newly bought land.
Right.
Which on the one hand makes it a simpler task, you know, we don't have to, there would be a lot of new legal and practical issues once we had to start figuring out how much of the town land, and that's gonna have to go to a town meeting, etc. So no, we didn't want to go there. Also, it actually made our application for the LMF grant more attractive, because we could say it's going to be the anchor for a whole bunch of potential expansions, instead of saying, we're doing all this and there it will sit.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Catherine, did you start to have a question?
Yeah, I don't know her. So she was recommended by the first,
Yes.
do we know,
Lauren, I'm sorry, what?
we know how much experience she has with that type of action?
Well, that's why she was recommended. Lauren Hall at Stratton Payson said, she recommended two. She said they're both very experienced in property issues. And I told John the two names and he said, let's go for Melissa. So that's what we did.
Okay.
So I don't know if that meant he'd heard of her before, but it may well be.
I would love to attend that meeting with John and the lawyer.
Okay, well, if we can get it set up, right. And he wanted it a physical meeting because he also wants to ask her if she'd represent the town on, there's some issues with a cemetery lot. I don't need it to be in person. I mean, I'd be happy to have a Zoom meeting.
I think the
Just so-
communication it was better in person, honestly.
Well, if we can do it, but mainly I just want to, you know, get this thing moving in the right direction again.
Yeah. And
then I got yesterday an email from our contact at LMF who said, just touching base, how's the appraisal going? And I need to go back to him and say it's not going at all. We've got to get the title issues resolved first.
I think it may have been a form email because he had sent him a pretty detailed.
I don't think so. It looked individualized, but short.
Yeah, and he had told us we had like 2 years to do everything. So yeah.
And so we wouldn't want to do the appraisal yet because those things age out. It needs to be within, I think, maximum 6 months and ideally less of when we wrap this deal. So obviously an appraisal from 2 years ago is just not reliable. Things change. So, but anyway, I'll get back to him and tell him where things stand. It would be nice to know, it would be nice for him to know that he's not sending messages to a black hole. So that's all that's happened on the preserve.
And it's also nice to know that we are communicating, not like the other times where they didn't have the right address.
I didn't believe that.
Yeah.
Right. Yes, that is a comfort. But the fact, yeah, before we were communicating with our contact, but we were, but the official channel had the wrong email. Hopefully they've resolved that now.
Mm.
Okay. Obviously, nothing on the water quality because nobody on that is here. The dark sky program, Linda, I hate even to ask you, but would you be available to help them at all with publicity?
Oh, I already said that I would be.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I guess I would just have to.
It's just that now you've gotten tied up in other stuff.
Yes, but I guess I would just have to be told what's expected. of me
Yeah,
or informed
so-
about that, yeah.
I got a couple drafts, which I haven't had a chance even to look at, and they look pretty sketchy to me. And I'm not even sure, there are two, and I guess one is intended to go into the papers and one to listservs or something, but on one of them, they leave off Owl's Head as a co-sponsor. So it doesn't look like anyone was doing a careful job. So
Would you be sending that to me then, or what would? that-
I can CC you on a response to John, but I really think a better job needs to be done or nobody will show up. I mean, though the publicity should make people understand why, of course, they'd want to come. Which is actually a no-brainer, but
Just tell me what to do and I'll do it.
bless you. We don't have many of those, you know. Okay, no, not much update on the shared sustainability coordinator with St. George. I have had just a communication from Neil saying that he agrees that we've got shared interest in the whole issue. I don't think I forwarded this to you folks, but I can. He said that at their last meeting, they talked about us having joint meetings, maybe quarterly or something. And I replied just for myself, that's an interesting idea, but I think we need more than that. We need, in terms of working with the sustainability coordinator, I think we need to be at the table. So not sure where all that's gonna go.
Well, we've been failing to have any resilience meetings because of quorum issues.
Yeah, I tried twice to go to meetings and they didn't happen.
Well,
And
there's
then
another
when
one,
it-
Friday at 4,
Right,
2,
Friday, no, I think it's at 4.
is it?
I think it's at 4.
Yeah, it's
There
4,
is a
it's
meeting.
4. Yeah, I have a 2:30 at the urologist and I'm probably,
Oh,
you know how those things like that go. And probably, meeting will probably be over by the time I'm free to go to it.
well, it's on my calendar. I will try to go. But most of what they want to talk about is solar or whatever.
Well, did you see the email when Neil was trying to get John Fancy to attend?
No.
Oh, Yeah, there was an email on this morning I read from Neil.
I did not get that, if you could forward it.
I cannot get.
Yeah, I think that, I mean, that's part of the problem is sometimes they think to share things with us, other times they don't. Um,
Yeah.
right. But I will follow up. I'm just kind of feeling like I'm pulled in too many directions now to do anything well, and I don't like that feeling. So Maine Coast Seafood, did anybody attend the hearing? Ah. And?
You did, didn't you?
No, John did, but he told me.
Yeah,
You go ahead.
I'm sure he did. Oh, Lord. Ask me some questions, get me
I know.
started.
Well,
We can go in.
Who
Oh.
attended? Was there a big public?
There was quite a, there was a good show, yeah, and, they showed the pictures that, Sue took, Skip took Sue out, somebody asked, I guess the select board asked, and they took all the pictures and they showed everything and everyone seemed to be, in favor of taking legal action.
Oh, yeah.
Isn't that what, John?
Yeah, absolutely. I think they have already taken, they've done a friendly letter, another friendly letter, then a more not so friendly letter. It's gone through. And they have, I won't go. One of the most important things is some fuel there. right?
Yes, yeah.
And that has to be siphoned off and taken away before it goes into the water.
Yeah.
And they have got a, oh, there's John here, I forgot, but I mean, they have gotten permission to go in and start doing something.
The permission from,
I think a judge did it, I think a judge.
okay,
I'm pretty
because
sure
they were
that's-
talking about moving right ahead, because I only gave them 14 days to respond. If they filed the action that we were, that was under discussion
think
at
that-
the meeting.
Yeah, but I think, I can't think of the phrase, I'm not a
Oh, I know.
lawyer, the phrase that they can go in and get reimbursed for starting to clean this. The primary thing is the fuel or oil, to get that out first, and they are, as far as I'm concerned, they're allowed to begin that
Good.
anytime. The rest of the stuff, cleanup, I don't know, but what they're looking at is, because these people aren't, it's not that they're not answering, they're just kind of blah, 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 talking this, talking that, talking that. And the intent is to go in and then start cleaning up ourselves and get reimbursed for it from them.
Yeah, it didn't sound like, Jim Strong, had much luck, more luck talking to him than anybody
I
else.
think he
had.
has since that meeting. though.
Since the
I think that meeting he has, and he's, I wish I'd known, I would have got more information on that, because John told me.
Yeah.
So what I understand
Jameson-
is,
It's finally moving along.
Jameson was able to give, them, email addresses and phone numbers. I guess he seemed to be the only one at the meeting that had ever spoken to these people.
Oh, Jim has now.
Yeah.
And there are three elderly brothers, I say elderly by my age, I don't know. Three
No, I think they're older than I think they're at least as old as me and they're older.
oh,
And, I don't know, it's it's finally moving along, and I think, I wish I knew more, I didn't know, I know it's the primary thing is getting is it oil? or
It's
gas?
diesel,
Diesel.
it's diesel oil.
And I think they're beginning they will be beginning to do that soon. That's all I really know.
And I mean,
What else?
there's a large quantity of it,
Yeah.
it should be valuable enough to interest somebody in, figuring out how to get it out of that tank.
I think,
Well, and then
I think the select
repurpose
now
it.
looking at people just psyching it off, who can do that. And that's-
right, but then whoever they are has to have a large tank
Oh,
somewhere
yeah, and
Yeah.
people do that stuff, you know, and
and then resell it,
I don't think we've got that far yet. It's cleaning it up first.
right?
It's keeping that diesel from
Yeah.
ending up in the,
Yeah, in the ocean, that's the first thing, then cleaning up the debris and hopefully getting reimbursed for that, and then I think if they don't move, I think it's putting a lien on the property. I mean, it's gonna be a little bit more process. but-
yeah, whatever, the way I understood it was whatever, money, financial things that that the town ends up putting out, that can be added to a tax lien.
Yes, yeah.
So we can end up with a tax lien big enough to take the place from
And it would be a
them.
wonderful
If they don't,
Wow.
space to get, I mean, just the waterfront of it would be wonderful to get. But I think almost everything's almost a tear down, certainly the houses.
yeah,
Probably the.
yeah, all of the property is a tear down. That original building has been there since I was 7 years old or less.
Yeah.
So we're talking almost 80
And I
years
think that's in the
ago.
back of our mind as a town, that yes, if they are willing to sell it, yeah, we would definitely like to get it.
Well. Yeah. I don't,
So the
No.
priority is the fuel
right,
and then the debris.
right,
And it's my
And then-
understanding that we can begin to clean that up, whether the selectmen have chosen to do that. That was my understanding, they can begin to do that now, and the money would be repaid by either putting a lien on it and getting taxes. But I'm afraid to talk too much because I don't know.
Yeah.
that's okay, we can take that as a caveat.
Okay.
But,
But I said, oh, Sally was there, she'll be able to say that.
well,
Yeah.
all right, so was this, is it on the YouTube somewhere?
I don't know.
Was
Oh,
it,
yeah.
was it treated as a
It
select
must-
board meeting or something?
Yes, it was treated as a select board.
Okay, then it probably, it's on the YouTube.
That's the way the notice came down.
Oh, yeah, or Zoom, yeah.
All right.
As a select board meeting.
So both that and the hearing on the quarry were like select board meetings?
The hearing on the
Human Report was a
quarry,
Planning board meeting.
that was a planning board, wasn't
It was a
it?
planning board meeting.
So that should have been also filmed.
Yeah, and by the way, you had asked something about YouTube's disappearing. I checked, they don't disappear. You can access YouTube's from these meetings as far back as 2021.
And you know how to do it?
Yes.
Oh, what a resource.
What a very good person you are.
Because, and what drives me crazy is you can't figure out, there's nothing on the YouTube itself that says what date.
I hope I can remember, but I was
There's a
able to
way?
see like meetings from like 3 years ago.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Meetings of
Wow.
this town was up to 3 years ago.
Us included, yes.
Yeah,
Wowza.
okay.
But I have to remember how I did that. I only did
Me too.
it.
You remember, and we write it down, step one, step two,
Yes.
that would be great.
Yes, but I confirm that you can, because we were, Sandra and I were talking, we were afraid that they just dematerialize.
Go out into soda space.
Yes, but they don't.
Well, it's not right up there after the first few, right?
It's not evident, but if you start
Yeah.
like looking around, then you can see that, yes.
Oh,
Yes.
what a great find.
I can't even run my new
I don't
smart
have the
television.
patience. I don't have the patience to keep looking, and I just drive
No.
me crazy.
We do.
But
Some
Linda
of us,
does.
some of us are.
John does, Sandra does.
Linda does. No, people are not all made the same way.
No, that's
And
true. I just
it's
get very frustrated.
different
Yeah.
aspects of different people add up to all the skills that a community needs.
I've said many times, I'm a worker bee, just send me out. If
Yes,
it's got nothing else,
yes, true.
walk the trails,
Okay,
pick up the garbage.
so. All right, so. We will try to find. I could see several days spent just transcribing meetings and hearings.
So I
How's
don't
it
know if
going?
I'm allowed to say this in front of
Yeah.
Leslie, but I just have almost finished the meeting, planning board public meeting on the quarry was an hour and 24 minutes. I'm down to 1 hour and 20 minutes. I have 4 minutes left to go. So that's why I know about like finding YouTubes. So I'm almost done that meeting and it was very interesting. So, you know, anybody who hasn't seen it, you can see what went on.
Yeah.
I spoke, Ivan spoke, there were about 20 people here. There was a lot of speaking, a lot of.
Is YouTube on the TV the same as on my computer?
I have no idea. I've only tried it on the.
If
Can
they,
you say that question again?
is YouTube on the TV? You can get YouTube on your television.
Oh, I've never done that. So I just get it on.
Well, I have a brand new smart television and in that long list of
Down below.
providers,
It has YouTube.
YouTube is in there as well.
It's just like a computer.
Yeah.
Your TV is gonna be like.
Yeah.
I would say,
Oh.
I would say you can, probably,
Yeah.
yeah.
I said that
I think
15 years ago, it was all gonna be one thing, soon.
so. You have a super smart TV.
So you're-
I don't think our smart
I am not smart enough to run this TV.
No, the TV is smart, but I don't think ours is smart enough to find YouTube, but I don't, it's worth a
Well,
try.
my son get upset because I lost my ability to get Netflix because of the Roku box on my old stupid television. They stopped supporting it.
At least you have
Okay.
it.
Now I know I could have just bought a new Roku box,
Well, having
but he
us
bought the television.
say thank you and enjoy it.
Say thank you and learn how to run it.
I can help you run it.
I think that's not too hard.
Oh.
Oh.
I just push the little button on my remote that says Netflix and there I am.
But we have three remotes. I'm always saying, John, so which one do I get? Which one is this? Press that one to the right, you know, it's like the little one, the little short one, the long, big one. Anyway,
All right, if we are done,
Oh, do we have the MEACC?
Oh,
annual meeting?
basically,
Oh.
I already said that I'll be off at that
So just
meeting.
because I'm taking.
And I'll have more to say after the meetings
So you
happen.
will attend.
Yeah,
so I'm gonna leave, you're gonna share your info.
yeah.
I have a hand up, but I can't give it to you. I can't give it.
Do not give Leslie.
Don't give
anything.
me-
Don't give me anything, okay.
Okay.
I'll talk to you,
Yeah,
but, just be sure it's down that I left because a
absolutely.
potential.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, I got it.
Okay, okay, take care.
Bye,
See
Leslie.
you on the island.
See you in the hood.
So
So I did think, we were talking about the maps and stuff like that. We were talking about, wetlands that are on an abutting property in St. George. So I made this handout for all the people who are here. With
And-
maps and the wetlands are,
and
delineated.
So,
Yes,
Wilson owns all that property, that big piece?
he owns, this where I've outlined in, orange, there's. So on that view map.
What?
Then I turn to you.
This is the church property, and he owns all around it.
He owns, yeah,
oh, wait, let me go. I don't have any orange on mine.
you know,
Oh, so where's St. George?
let me show you, and these are wetlands
Yeah,
here, for
yeah.
example. And then St. George.
No
You don't have
orange.
any- Oh, I'm sorry,
No.
I probably gave you mine. What did I give you? Oh, but I gave you another handout, didn't I? It's in.
Oh, is it in that
Yeah,
package?
yeah.
Oh, I didn't look deeper. This is what you.
Yeah, no, I sent you, but it's in.
Have you sent that to Catherine?
Yes, no, because I thought Catherine would be here, so Catherine.
Can you
probably,
forward it?
yeah, I will do. You
Can you
probably have,
Can you email it to me?
yes, I have, yeah, you probably have some of it anyways, but.
Right, that's very helpful.
Yeah.
So
What a strange property.
it is.
Oh, the little, yeah,
So
there's a
this
lot of
is-
strange pieces of
This
property.
is St. George, for example, and
That-
there's a
that-
large wetlands there. This is his property. There's wetlands there, wetlands there.
This is St. George line
Yes.
already?
Yeah, I'll show you.
Oh, where's the St. George line?
here, and I'll show you, oh, this is driving wetland. Okay, so here's another kind of map. And here is again like that kind of.
Yeah.
That's a
Yeah.
forest.
There, and see it says St. George, so,
Oh,
so,
Yeah, I would
oh,
like,
so it must be this is St. George?
yes, that's why like I tried to
Oh.
delineate there and show you like, yeah, it's not in this land, but there's like big wetlands there.
Right. I'm wondering
And,
if you can forward to Catherine right now, the package? Or is that a bunch of different documents?
It's a bunch of, yeah, each one is like a
Oh,
single, it's
and-
not like a
And you're
rundown.
not at home, so you're not
Yeah.
on email.
But I could send it to you straight away, Catherine. I mean, it's just,
Yeah, we'll send it after,
I'm listening, yeah.
okay.
so I wanna say, I'm not one of the abutters, I'm not one of the 10 abutters, but I just found that it was very, very distressing to, it was a very distressing meeting. There was nobody that came to the meeting that said, oh, I love Corey,
Yeah.
I gotta say, there was about 20 people, nobody said that. There were noise concerns, decibels, there was traffic and safety, like, big
these trucks are gonna be coming out of this road at the top of the hill next to the
Yes, it's a curve,
church.
it's a curve.
There's
so,
a hill and a curve there.
Yeah,
Were any abutters at the meeting?
yes,
Oh,
yes.
do we have a list of
Oh.
attendees?
Yeah,
A list was made and I was kind of waiting for tonight, so that I would know how to approach Terry and ask for more material.
So I went to Terry right before the meeting and got, let me see what I got.
who were some of the abutters? Oh,
Mr. Mr. Bright.
All right, so we have to.
Grierson.
Yeah.
I knew it was
Oh.
yeah.
That's not.
10 abutters.
Which is the group?
So I've got,
Oh, there are, and yeah, they've changed.
I got
The one that
Terry.
I know have moved on more generations since, and I don't know who they are,
Yeah.
but there's,
People were very.
you used to be able to go through,
Oh. Oh dear, that's pathetic.
but a little further on, you used to be able to go through, before you get to the Grierson Road,
Mhm.
you could, there's a couple of houses in there now, and they, just a very small road and a couple of houses in there. You used to be able to go in through there and buy an old quarry and come out in a pasture on the Grierson Road.
Oh, was that
I
called,
was a kid on horseback. I stuck my nose in everywhere.
was that called Carrington Quarry? Maybe?
Yeah.
The reason why I actually brought and delivered some of these poster things.
Into there.
And I saw like Harrington
Yeah.
Quarry.
Yeah,
So I think like whatever we choose to do, which is hopefully make an appeal, I think that there would be a lot of people, like, once they realize that we would be hopefully making an appeal, there would be neighbors certainly who would be very happy to come along for the ride.
Mhm.
were people putting their names down at this meeting?
They had to, we were asked, I had to, and I mean, I was happy to, but yeah,
Yeah.
there was like a list, and
Yeah.
I think I could probably ask Terry for that.
Or does the planning board have it?
Oh, yeah, the planning board.
So. Terry made a copy for me tonight of everything she had on it. And what I can do is make a PDF of it and send it to all of you.
Cause I may not even have all of the data because I was passing out these like packets and stuff, and so that I never got to the front where the, her packet was, so, yeah, I would be very grateful to have
Okay,
that.
so there's what she said. She
You got
doesn't.
this for me.
What she said she doesn't have is, well, she doesn't have the planning board minutes and they're not even going to be ready until after our deadline to ask
What does that mean? Cause I have the whole transcript done now. Is that like that's like a narrative kind of, right? Like. not-
Yeah,
it's-
that's,
oh,
and we decided,
okay.
and what,
Okay,
but
okay.
the transcript,
Okay.
well, you've got a transcript of the 19th, but now we still need a transcript of the 1st.
No, I did a transcript of the public hearing on October 2. I didn't do yet the one on September 19th.
Oh, okay,
That's shorter.
okay, so
than-
you had,
Yeah.
all right, so you, but that detail's great.
It's very interesting. And I called the DEP yesterday and I spoke with, somebody that Travis Wilson cited as being like the mining guy. So I actually got a hold of the mining guy. And, I'm trying to think of exactly how he worded it. They don't even come out for a site visit. I thought,
They
like,
said they might be out for a site visit sometime in the next 3 years.
yes,
Right.
yes, but I mean, I thought, like, in my naive, standpoint that, oh, they must have already gone and looked at his property, checked out to see
Never.
where the wetlands were, so they, no, there was no site visit, they just rely on maps. And I said, what about like wildlife and all that? So he said, well, the maps tell us that. So I said, well, do you have that data? And that data hasn't been, processed yet totally. So so Travis Wilson has permission to start blasting, drilling, crushing, hauling.
God.
But we don't even know for sure, what's out there.
So there's something that the planning board had to do at that hearing, some checklist or something. That they have not yet provided to Terry, but she said she will call tomorrow and ask them to provide it to her and get it to me.
The way it works is there is a performance review. So they go through all the condition. And my big problem is with the process and how it went through. The fact that 2 full-time board members were absent and we had to rely on an alternate, make it 3 people to do the initial examination of the permit application. So at this first examination, where there were 2 members and an alternate, it was decided that everything was in order. So then there was a very hastily scheduled hearing, which happened before I got back and had a chance to attend. And from what I understand, the next planning board meeting, I'm not sure if it happened yet or not. And at the next planning board meeting, that's when the permit is actually granted, where, all the conditions are then reviewed and discussed. And that's where, constraints and conditions are entered in the permit for the applicants to, abide by. So I would like to know if the second meeting happened and when it happened, and if it took into account any of the concerns that were voiced at the hearing. To me, the
Right.
point of the public hearing is to, enforce all those concerns. And the job of the good planning board is to issue, assurances or demonstrate that all those concerns are taken into account and will not lead to any damage, in one respect or another. So I don't understand, and I'm not sure whether the second planning board meeting has happened and whether the permit is already granted or not. And if it's,
Well, if
If
it is not granted, then they shouldn't be allowed to start blasting.
absolutely,
But it seemed like he is able to start blasting on October 28th.
okay.
So we need to ask maybe Irv, okay, so we understand you have a process, and where was the meeting at which the permit was granted, right?
And that's why, and it should not have been granted. I mean, there is a fixed date on the calendar during which the planning board meets, and that if it did meet right after the hearing, this is highly irregular. Even at the session after the public hearing, a date
Well,
have been scheduled for the granting, so the review of all the conditions, and the public there could attend and again voice and say, well, you know, and negotiate to make sure, you know, things are taken into account. So, you know, I didn't ask Irv, but, you know, I don't know if the permit has been granted or not. I don't know, and when it was granted or not. And why it was granted, if it was granted, why the rush, you know? When it, you know, it's usually on the third Thursday of the month, so it should have been a meeting this coming Thursday, you know.
Not
No.
tomorrow, you mean the following Thursday?
The first Thursday of the month, we're talking November at this point.
No,
They had the meeting on October,
the planning
Second.
board meets
Yeah.
on third Thursday of the month.
third Thursday. Oh, I'm sorry, I heard first.
Third.
Third, so
So the planning board
the
meeting,
September 19th was third Thursday. And then the hearing was October 2nd, and that was treated as a select board meeting.
No, it was a.
It was planning board, that was also planning board?
It was called.
big hearing.
Oh,
There no,
no, she says it's planning board.
who says,
Linda said it was called a planning board meeting, the hearing.
Planning board public hearing
I
on
want-
October 2nd.
I want to know why it was scheduled right then and there when official meetings are scheduled, you know, and there was no delay. I mean, to me, it's like highly irregular and unusual way of proceeding. The meeting,
I
No.
agree.
the permit process should have happened on the 17th, on this coming Thursday. Oh, no, next week. Yeah, I'm losing track of time.
Okay,
What can we do about this?
well, Catherine, you or I could ask Irv to please explain.
What?
You or I could ask Irv to explain. Just call him, just
There is
call
one
him and say.
Noise on my line, I can't hear you well. Who do you want me to ask to explain?
No, I was saying either you or I could ask Irvin Curtis to explain process and what happened. That our understanding was that the application would be presented at one meeting, that would be the September 19. And then that public hearing, how much notice did the public have? That was just a week or so.
And then, so there was some discussion because I remember in the past, I think we had to include public notice in the newspaper. And for some reason, the bylaws that were revised do not include newspaper. They only listserv and posting at the post office and, you know, in various public places. So people who don't, you know, who are still in the older generation and are used to the newspaper do not get to see those notices. But again, so I don't know, but Irv is typically very good at mailing letters to all the abutters. So the abutters should have all received a letter in the mail about the public hearing. And then apparently there was another letter sent by the blasting company to everybody within a perimeter to, you know, ask to have their house inspected so that, you know, there would be a baseline of the condition of the house before blasting starts. So,
Well, then there's hardly time if blasting is starting later this month.
well, you know, all these, you know, all these are good points and may justify delaying the start of the operation. And certainly to me, the worst, you know, egregious thing is like, I'd like Irv to explain why he didn't follow the usual schedule of the planning board, if indeed there was a planning board meeting right after the public hearing, which I'm not certain, it happened. I mean, I don't know.
If you listen to the end of the September 19th, the original meeting, he says at the very end, and this killed me, I don't think, because when there's a discussion as to whether a public hearing should be held, he says twice, I don't think it's gonna make any difference. So I was, when I heard that, Irv Curtis, I was shocked. I mean, you know, it's like a fait accompli. He said that 2 times on, you can hear
He
it.
doesn't think.
He said, I don't think it's gonna make any difference. So,
But then they had something they billed as a public hearing
yes,
with very short notice.
yes.
I don't remember there being a meeting before that. That completely got by me.
I would have gone to it, but I was in Spain, so I couldn't, I had a big time difference, so I couldn't go to that, but yeah, it. It was just, I guess, the regular monthly meeting, right, where Travis Wilson presented this application, and he goes through with Irv, and Irv is, that's what I was mentioning to you, a very collegial, friendly atmosphere. Nobody said a word about, you know, dust, air, groundwater pollution, nothing, like nobody says anything, and Irv is extremely helpful.
What is it he wants to get out of this quarry?
Oh, no, well, come on, Travis he's a very good businessman. I mean, he has this huge rock, you know, what do you call it, you know, a vein there in this land, and for his work, he uses rocks. So if he can get them out of his own property, he doesn't have to buy them, and rocks are very expensive. So, you know, he can quarry directly his own rocks. So to him, it's directly affecting his bottom line. And then to me, the big concern is the stone crusher. You know, that thing going all day long is gonna drive people mental. It's very loud, and you know, I need to check. You know, I don't know the facts, but I heard that in St. George there was a quarry that had reopened at some point. I think it was on Long Cove Road, and people somehow managed to get it shut down because the noise was just unbearable and affecting people's health. So, you know, it's worth looking into if it happened, how it happened, what were the circumstances, and you know, they may have different ordinances than we do, you know, but it's worth looking into.
We don't even have all the data right now, even about wildlife. I'm just gonna read you something really, really quick, about, the original meeting on September 19th, where at 19.50 in the meeting regarding wildlife on the Wilson track, Travis Wilson states that the DEP will contact Maine Wildlife, whatever, and do some digging and research into it if there's established habitats for certain wildlife or anything out there. So they will already research all that. Well, I don't even think the research has been obtained yet, because I spoke quickly to the DEP guy, and he says he doesn't have it. So then Mr. Curtis replies, okay, no, I guess that will be something that will be all taken care of. Mr. Wilson then says, they'll let me know, but there's been no sign of anything out there.
Oh, come
So I'm
on,
thinking,
it's full of
like,
wildlife.
no sign of anything out there, how could that possibly be, unless like you're driving through with 18 trucks, you know, I mean, like maybe animals become nocturnal, but to me, it's not possible that there could be nothing out there, so.
It's full of deer, moose, all the small animals. This is part of,
Me,
well, it's more than the 1,000-acre wilderness. There's a lot more. It's this huge piece bordered by 73 and the Grierson Road, of which my woodlot is down on to Spruce Head from there. That's why I was interested in the line, and I see where the corner is now. Yeah,
another issue I see is that the blasting company didn't attend the public hearing. Is that correct?
That's correct. As far as I know, I mean, I didn't see anybody that
I mean-
looked like,
I would have had tons of questions. You know,
I know.
technology may have evolved, and you know, it may be a very safe operation now, may very precise, but I would have liked to know from the experts how these things go. You know, again, to making people comfortable with the operation. Here, people are left just with doubt and fear. And it's like, you know, too bad. And that's the attitude. And I find that very disconcerting. I mean, we're again a small town, and that, you know, because, you know, obviously blasting, you hear what happens when people blast, you know, how deep is it going to blast? Is it going to affect the water table? You know, all these are very relevant questions. We are all on wells. We don't have town water. You know,
well, when we were doing site prep for my house on Sprucehead Island, we had most of Sprucehead Island going, wait a minute, you're gonna blast for that summer hole? And this is a very small blasting thing where they use these huge vats and it's just small contained charges just to break up what they need to remove, to get. And we had over half of Sprucehead Island up in arms about you're gonna crack my foundation and frig with my well.
That's what some people cited those concerns, yeah.
It's another concern for Travis. What size rock is he expecting to quarry? Are they boulders? If you
This is what
He said some of them would be like 4 feet long, I think he said, like some of them would be pretty.
to extract 4 feet long boulders, you need a pretty good charge. Okay.
well, you use the lines in the stone. Stone has grain like wood does,
Yes.
although it's more obvious in wood. But that's why I was wondering what he wanted to quarry. I mean, there's a difference between getting stones that you can build something with, stones
We're not
for crushing, or like. The stuff left over from blasting from my cellar hole is just what we call grout. It's just jagged pieces that you can't do much. You find a piece here and there that you could do something with, but.
Yeah, like gravel pits where you get just, small, whatever, stone good for cement or whatever. But, rocks come in various sizes, all the way to large. But we need large boulders. We are waterfront, and with erosion, some properties require the boulders to protect the properties. So the rocks have to come from someplace. But, so, I mean, to me, there are so many questions that were left unanswered, and it shows a lack of respect for the people that, they are brushed off this way. And that's it. That's my position.
Can we appeal? I would like to appeal, and ideally, I would have liked the Conservation Commission to say, yes, we will mount an appeal, because we're allowed to appeal.
Right, no, I think we need a quorum to do that. We need a quorum that doesn't include Leslie. So we just need John and or Henry.
There are three men that weren't here tonight.
Three?
Three. Henry and John Poirier and the new guy.
We have a new guy?
I think he is the new guy, I think.
Wait a minute, that doesn't make 7, does it? Everybody
What
got,
new guy?
wait a minute.
There's a new guy in the library committee. We don't have a new guy.
I'm sorry, I've got my,
Yeah, I think
you're right.
so.
You're, yeah.
It would be nice, but I think he's a phantasm.
I like that word.
Anyway, so,
Okay.
but we could call a special meeting and announce it.
Can we?
Yeah,
Because, and like.
but let's
we're
get our
already-
ducks, we got a lot of ducks to line up.
Henry is
I
5.
know, but we're already,
John
we can't,
Porter.
because I'm always worried about time, but.
I know,
Yeah.
Who's the 7th member?
we don't have one, we've got a vacancy.
I need to
I was
jump.
thinking, at one point, John Poirier said that his wife might be interested, and I think we should approach her.
Oh.
Um,
The other thing too that I just want to add, in future, I'm very interested also in examining this R1 zoning. This is like not to do like tonight, but.
Resource,
yeah,
I just find that we're a quiet residential rural community, and that who knows what's coming down the pike in the future. And Terry showed me like this long swath of R1 zoning that, I think, wow,
what is R1?
heavy commercial
Oh, God.
operations are allowed.
in R1?
Yes, yes. The gig store, for example, is not an R1, which which seems like interesting, but.
Behind you that shows the zoning, like behind you, Sandra, to your right.
Oh,
Am I, no. Over there? To my left?
Next to the board,
Which one? This?
like now to your right where you are, isn't there a map that shows the zones? Yeah.
This one?
Comprehensive plan map. Should be this one.
Is it
Yeah.
this one?
The middle one, maybe? Yeah.
Yes,
One is.
yes, it does.
So R1 is, because Terry showed me.
That color,
Look,
yeah.
look at all this.
Oh.
I mean, who
Yeah.
knows what else is, you see, I mean, it's huge. This is where like, you know, St. George and stuff like that.
Yeah, well, my property here, I'm in the village zone, I don't think
Where's
so.
the white?
There is
Yeah.
no
I'm
definition.
still in village.
Yeah, but, my property goes back to the town line, and you're saying that this up here. That Wilson thing is in this area.
Yeah, it would be, well.
Well, yeah, it's,
Yeah, somewhere, yeah. it's
So-
around here.
so that major brook that feeds into here. Is that on his, showing on his property?
Is that the Sharkeysville Creek?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's the one that has the little waterfall that comes down into the, right there side of the road. It's very interesting. You see it in the spring when there's a lot of water.
that name came up.
Very pretty.
Sharkeysville Creek. So there's this huge swath.
That's
of,
not showing on here.
potential, like for evil.
Yeah.
Yeah, so anyways, that's like something that I'm thinking in the future, I would like to,
But that brook doesn't show on here.
well, see, that map is just for wetlands maybe, so that's.
Well,
why-
isn't the brook
Well,
part of a
it's-
wetland?
Well, yeah, you're right, but I mean, maybe it's not such a detailed, incredibly.
What does that
detailed-
say? That's the road?
I think that's Wilson's.
No,
Does that say Wilson's Way?
yeah, that's the yellow thing. This, I was wondering why this line is curved like that.
So I deviated from the subject, it's just something that I'm thinking about in the future too, that this disturbs me, this huge
Well-
possibility for more,
There was
Yeah.
rural too. What, but what can you do in it?
oh,
I have no
I
idea.
don't know, that I don't know. But this
But
is
it's
all.
it's all
It's all shoreline.
Rural two seems to be all
It
shoreline.
does.
What's that dark green, conserved land?
Oh,
Oh, yeah, so this would be the huge area is, off Butternut Lane. Yeah,
Hmm.
and this is the hay fields and whatever.
and
And,
actually, it's not a. It's late, because where's the new Georges River one off Westbrook?
No, this isn't up to
And
date.
this is from 2008. So
Oh, well.
it's a little,
And it's our comprehensive plan, which desperately needs updating.
Yes, definitely.
Oh,
So I'd like
We've
to.
got to get to go.
yes, we do.
I wanna work on
But we
it. Skip wants to work
All
on
right,
it.
but we can't think about it right
Okay,
now
yeah, I
because
deviated.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah, I
we've
know,
got
I
to
know,
deal with
I
this.
know.
And another thing is
It's bothering.
we need to look at the ordinances because they sound pretty weak. You know, and compare them to St. George and what they had where they were able to shut down a quarry.
Yeah, I remember
Some
something
stuff.
vaguely about that.
Oh, Lord.
So can we call, I'd like to get, like, my plan was originally to make a motion, you know, to say that we were gonna proceed with, an appeal, but I realized.
We can't do that.
I can't do that, so can we make a date for a follow-up? Where, or,
I think that first I better get hold of John and Henry and see when one of them could come.
Yeah.
The only way, you know what, if we changed our bylaws to have alternates. You could be an alternate and that wouldn't
Is
make
that how
you
the
vote.
alternate works on the planning board? They
Yeah.
got to vote, but when they,
Yes.
but
Yes.
this subject was brought up before and it was shot down. I can't remember the
By who?
details.
Well, I think we can make the case that we are having trouble maintaining quorums. And that would be one easy solution, because you always come.
Also, I could be a member.
Well,
Yeah.
you'd be this hybrid sort of thing, and most days you wouldn't be a member. You wouldn't be a voting member. But,
I mean, I could become the 7th member if we're still short one.
well, no, actually, that messes up other things because of John's crazy idea that we can't. On the preserve, only 2 members can ever meet together.
Right,
So you
right.
need you not to be a.
As long as I'm not, yeah. Are we gonna close up soon? Because
Yeah, all right.
I'm supposed to be dropping off my car on my way home and my daughter's gonna pick me up.
Oh, are
Well,
you still able to do whatever you need to do? If we shut down
Yeah,
in the next minute?
yeah.
All right, so I think what we need to make a list of stuff we need to do. You know, information we need to have to make our case. And
do we have to do all of that like straight away, or can we just request that or indicate that we want to make?
well, I don't know how much of a case we need to make. It's all very, yes, we can just throw together a piece of paper and say we want an appeals board review, but I would think that the odds of our having that review granted would be greater if we can make,
It has to,
summarize reasons why.
yeah,
Yes?
you can't just say, I want to,
Yeah, right, you can, but you'll get shot down.
an appealable argument.
Yes, exactly,
Were some of the points that I sent to you two, about what went on in the meeting on September 19th, are those some of them that we could incorporate?
oh, I'm sure. But
Along
we
with what
need
else
to
we
do that. We
discussed?
need to say, what are our strongest arguments?
We can,
Uh,
the process, to me, the process is at fault, about the planning hearing, the public hearing, and certainly the scheduling, if it happened indeed, of the planning board right afterwards. To me, that's the great, egregious problem.
So
I'm writing this down.
what I don't know is whether they were calling that hearing their second meeting. That would be very disturbing, but
Not because, the way it goes, I mean, you have a first review or, and conditions are discussed, like it's like a compromise on things. And that's the point. You need public input to, we're trying to make everybody happy. It's not just business gets what it wants. Business doesn't operate in a vacuum. It operates within a community. And when you have direct neighbors, you need to show respect and take into account their concerns. So just like we impose, storage facilities to put, landscaping to hide things, again, that's for the benefit of the people so that they don't have to look at something ugly, and so there are things that can be done. And the rushing of that permitting process prevented all that back and forth and negotiation to happen. And at the same time, it prevented a lot of very relevant information to be disseminated regarding the blasting, and how it happens, the consequences regarding the stone crushing, operating Monday through Friday, 6 to whatever, and, is being grand by not operating on the weekend. I think, again, that's a bit insulting to the neighbors. 6 a.m., you're going to start hearing a machine going on. That's, people are going to go crazy.
Yes.
so what did they let them operate on weekends too?
No,
Not
but one thing that,
Everybody doesn't live on a 5-day,
Well, that's
I-
true
I
too.
2-day weekend.
that's another exchange between Curtis and Wilson. is that when they discuss the hours of operation of the quarry, Mr. Curtis confirms that those remain the same, Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., nothing on Saturday or Sunday. That will stop the trucks, give everyone a break on the weekend. So then my question is, what about all the retirees, the telecommuters, teachers in the summer, stay-at-home parents that are at their residence during the week? Like where is their break,
Right.
you know, so.
Right.
So. And then another thing then on September 19th, it was like, I'm so angry about this. Mr. Curtis says, I hate to limit you, but how many times per year do you think you want to have blasting? And I'm thinking like, why would he say, I hate to limit you? I mean, this is supposed to be serious questioning, but he's saying, I hate to limit
These
you.
are people who think that what's good for business is good for everybody.
Well, there's also, I understand the fact that Travis Wilson is the same guy who has done quarrying or whatever it is up past me, to the great outrage of his neighbors.
Well,
What
this is a complicated situation. Do not mix the both. I mean, Travis was in town before the neighbors moved in. You know, he was operating there, and you know, this
Okay.
was he had, you know. So let's not mix the two of them. Absolutely not. No.
All right, well, that's good advice, but there's so many things that we're just learning as we go.
Yeah, yeah.
So can we,
Can we what?
so can we take some of what I wrote you two about like the points and then add like what Catherine had to say, which I think is really valid about like the scheduling, the strange scheduling and the rushing, like to put this through.
Well, what I'd like is for each of us to make a list of all the things that we think are big deals or and come up with and then come up with a composite.
And we're requesting a moratorium on the blasting until, you know, the appeal can be heard.
Absolutely.
I asked about that. I asked about how does an appeal work? I thought like, oh, if we make an appeal, does that stop everything? And I asked that during the October 2 meeting, and they said no.
That's not correct. I mean, it's like, what's the
No,
point?
that doesn't.
So that what they told her was not correct?
I don't know. To me, that's outrageous. I mean, it's like,
Yeah, it certainly sounds outrageous.
Cause I thought, wow, like what I thought is, oh, maybe I'll wait until like the last day to submit it and then like everything, you know, has to stop and then like I held up things for a long time and that's great, but no, they said it doesn't
Ugh.
stop it.
Yeah,
so, all right. I go.
okay.
I think this was yours, Sandra, I think.
Oh, yes, okay.
It didn't have the red lines on it.
Okay,
So
so-
we gather down all our thoughts, somehow collate them and then
Yeah, I'll
call a
collate.
special.
Yeah,
So I can submit to you.
Yes.
And then,
yes, and we'll make not just all the biggest things, but in a persuasive order. Yes,
you're
it's
the
gonna,
expert.
I think so.
You're
I
the
think I'm the,
And then call a special
Puller together,
meeting?
or-
Do we have to actually get together physically
Yes.
to do it?
well,
Or,
it could be on Zoom, but it has to be a public meeting. So we have to announce, we have to pick a date, say we're gonna have a special meeting. It has to, you know, the usual public notice has to be given. But if by that meeting, we had a paper already put together that we said, this is what we want, submit as our appeal. As our petition to the appeals board, and we're gonna vote on it. Then, you know, yes,
yeah, cool.
yeah, sure,
Yeah.
sure,
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
and I don't know what's going on with Henry right now, but I have a sense that there's some very disturbing. I don't know if somebody's ill, if Maureen's had a relapse, whatever, but he's been really quite, clearly distressed and uncommunicative. So I want to be sure that John can come, because
Is that, oh, cause.
I just can't be sure that Henry can. But if we get John,
He was there at the
can have a
meeting.
quorum,
Henry was there at the meeting, by the way, on October 2, he was there.
yeah,
So, yeah, so He
So
is-
did John Poirier just tell you why he wasn't coming?
He's out of town.
He's out of town.
What he did was tell Hannah, who said, do you know this? And I sent a message thanking Hannah and telling John that he should have told Linda and CC Linda. It's
With
all a learning process.
all our communication devices, we can't communicate with them.
All right.
And then,
Okay, but I think I will adjourn the meeting.
oh, yes, I forgot all about that.
It hasn't been a legal meeting since Leslie left.
Let's not stress that.
When is the next meeting date?
Whatever the second Wednesday is.
Okay, the 13th of November.
And I'm also, once we decide on what we're gonna do, then I'm gonna alert, I'm gonna get all the neighbors, like I've made some contacts now, so I'm gonna, it
Good.
will not be just us.
Or they might wanna make their own appeal.
I don't think so. I
Okay.
think they need like leadership from the STCC.
Okay.
I think like a lot of people are not like activists, just.
Yeah,
Get some names, maybe I could help with that.
yeah.
Okay.
I might know some of these people,
Oh, very good.
Actually,
So I was
let us-
gonna get the list tomorrow then from.
or I might know their parents.
Great answer.
You want to
Yeah,
cut off the recording? Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
trying, yes.
All right, bye-bye, ladies.
happens. Get better.
This looks stupid.
Take care.
Bye.
How do I turn this on?
There's.
There's and, but I.
Oh,
I
My
know.
phone isn't supposed to work, doesn't work well in here, they say.
Recording, oh, wait.
We better wait till we get
Recording.
the parking lot to call them.
Oh, you gotta go, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I told her we usually done by 6 o'clock.
Oh, no. Well, you go. and we'll-
No,
we'll walk up
she's
or
not leaving her house until I tell
Stop
her I'm leaving.
recording,
Oh.
okay. Wait, a stop, I hate this thing. Are you sure?
Please just stop recording alternate scenes.
Are you sure you want to stop recording to the cloud? Yes. Okay, I'm sure I do.
Holy cow.
But then there's there was something off to the right, which I don't see. And there's something here that says, and, wait a minute,
I just
YouTube.
saw exit.
What does this YouTube say?
Hmm.
Host, live.